Extra, extra, read all about it as we will be spoiling all contents from this week's episode in this podcast recap. View at your own discretion.
You've been warned.
Welcome back! We are back at the house talking sports.
Oh my gosh.
It's been a long 3 weeks.
Is it 3?
Maybe 2 since the Super Bowl. I've lost track of time, to be honest.
We needed a break.
We are in the ghost hours of whatever we're doing here.
Dude, props to us, dude. Every week of the NFL we covered.
We did it, man.
We did it.
We covered the entire NFL season.
We did it.
If for some reason you've got way too much time on your hands and you're wanting to go hear two idiots talk about football, go back through, watch some of our episodes. There were some fun things going on.
Dude, we did it. That's
we are going to do a
impressive.
brief recap next week of our free agency tracker.
Yes, sir.
I'll be releasing some stuff from previous episodes.
Yep.
Showing our a little bit of our journey. We'll make a little tribute video maybe.
That'd be awesome.
I
I could watch up on the Jumbotron.
Yep, because like a memorial video,
Yeah.
like you're being welcomed back, like
Yeah.
Anthony Davis style.
Call me Anthony Davis, yep.
Oh man, I am your podcast host, Noah Marano. We're glad you guys are hanging around the house with us today. If you guys are watching on YouTube, drop a subscription, drop a comment, drop a like. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple Music, however you like to consume your podcast. We're here for you. Back with my podcast co-host and editor. The bald-headed demon himself is here to ring in the NBA season with me. Ernie Johnson is back in the building.
That's right. Ernie, you need a biopic. I know Chalamet's in the running, but counteroffer me.
Yeah.
But I've shot some hoops in my days,
Hey.
so I think I am qualified to talk
Yeah,
about
and
NBA.
on that topic, just a preference. I don't feel like we say this enough on the pod, but this is a really big premise as to why we created this pod. We're just two dudes
Yep.
talking about sports.
Yeah, I play JV ball.
We don't think our opinion is any more valid than either one of ours or anybody else we talk to about this. We just want to talk about it.
Yep.
We just want to engage in conversation. So if you're about that, if you're like that, if you're just on a Saturday afternoon talking with your college buddies in your dorm about sports, this might be the podcast for you.
Yep.
So we're going to get into the NBA season because we have been putting it off on the back burner because we have been covering a lot of NFL. But we're here for the NBA, and we are very excited because this is where the NBA really ramps up. We had All-Star Weekend.
This is when you should be watching.
This is when you should be watching the NBA. Everything else before that doesn't really matter.
You're
so,
just doing too much. Okay, I get it. You're a fan.
Yeah.
Gosh.
If you have League Pass, you're a sicko, and that's okay. There are NBA sickos around here. This is our first year playing fantasy basketball.
Yep.
Fun.
I'm having fun.
We've had some tumultuous times in the chat.
Yeah. For sure. No, I think 1, 2, 3, 4 people quit.
This is the year of just fantasy turmoil.
For sure, dude.
First Nico Collins, and now
I don't
whatever
remember.
the hell happened to freaking.
I guess Trey Young, we'll call it. The Trey Young.
No,
debacle?
it wasn't Trey Young. It was more. It was just the death of two teams caused the implosion of our league.
I mean, it was
even further.
It is the first time we're doing fantasy
Yeah.
basketball, so this really is like a trial.
We're also not taking it very seriously.
We
at all.
have no idea how to play it, and we had no idea how to do anything, and we made up our own rules.
created a lot of our own rules.
Well, like, you miss a free throw, you lose 2 points. Like, we just made up a bunch
really,
of like
really
random,
damning stuff. Really,
Yeah.
really is. I've learned.
really just trying to have fun.
Yeah,
That was the only goal.
that was the only. Honestly, though,
Um,
I'm having a lot of fun until my entire team just decided to take a leave of absence.
Yeah, your team like died.
And it finished off with it Apex Mountain into Wemby being gone for the season, who I took number 1 overall in the draft.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Yeah.
Luckily, our commissioner here was generous enough to disband another team for my sake so that I would continue playing.
Yeah.
We probably have one listener who's not too happy about that one. But
Hey, I mean, it is what it is.
listen, we're back. Basketball's back. All-Star break is over. We had probably one of the craziest free agencies I have ever seen in my lifetime.
You mean trade deadlines?
Yes, trade deadlines. And honestly, it really was just because of the Luka trade. That was just one of the most insane things I've ever seen.
And Jimmy got traded, which would be a big thing.
I think 2 years ago, the Jimmy thing would have been a much bigger thing.
Dude, he's still an
Dude,
all-star.
And we'll talk about that.
Yeah,
He's gone to the Warriors,
I know,
and he's
that's
been
what I'm saying.
been
But it
playing
was
really well.
overshadowed because this Luka thing was so massive.
We have never. That's a new precedent.
Nothing will ever so like the little Jimmy trade was not even in the same stratosphere
No,
as what happened.
no.
So it just got overshadowed.
Yeah,
But
everything
that deadline was good. Deadline was good.
Yeah.
Fox getting moved. It was fun.
happy for him too because I think that's a match made in heaven. God willing, if Wemby is back and healthy next season.
Bro.
That is not good, man.
It's not good because he's out for the season. They're going to be bad, and then they have Atlanta's pick and they have their pick. And if they get Cooper Flag, I am going to quit the NBA.
There's a really good chance they tank for Flag at this
It's
point.
crazy, bro.
I think the
I don't
Sixers
think
are trying to do
gonna
it too.
Yeah, I don't think the Spurs are going to tank, but they just can't win as much without Wemby. I don't think they're in the locker room saying, "Guys, let's tank."
Listen, history repeats itself in so many ways. We saw Shaq get drafted to the Magic #1 after. We saw Dwight Howard get drafted to the Magic after Shaq, a couple years after that. And now, back in the 90s, we saw David Robinson get hurt, and they drafted Tim Duncan.
Yeah.
And now we see Wemby get drafted, he gets hurt, and now they might get Cooper Flag.
That'd be crazy.
If
they get 1 and 2 pick, this league is in trouble.
Already, just the sheer luck of the fact that they have struck gold on Tim Duncan and now Wembanyama to only lead to them.
I mean, there's a lot between that too. Tony Parker.
I know, but I'm talking like #1 overall pick.
Yeah.
They got two top. But if Wemby ever reaches his potential, probably two top 10
relax
players.
on Wemby, but Tim Duncan is the greatest power forward of all time.
Yeah, so just insane stuff. But yeah, I mean, currently I did want to go through the standings as they are right now because for the most part, the top has been pretty the same. A couple teams are jockeying in the West, but the East is pretty much holding fast on everything that's been happening this year.
Yeah.
The Cavs still stand alone. They went out to a massive break at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, they were
we thought they were going to break the record. I didn't personally think it,
but
they were on pace to. And
sure, yeah.
They definitely have cooled down.
12-1, I think.
Yeah, they definitely cooled down a little bit in the middle of the season, but they're back to pummeling. Their point differential is miles
cooling
above.
down, but they still only have 10 losses on the season.
Dude, they also have the second best point differential in the league.
It's crazy.
It's just an insane. Boston's still #2. They're still Boston. They look like they've just been coasting all season.
Yeah,
the Knicks have been struggling as of late a lot after getting off to a hot start in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, they've also just been hurt. OG got hurt. Cat's been in and out.
Yep.
Josh Hart got hurt.
Yeah.
So they've been dealing with some injuries.
Yeah, and then there's just a bunch of movement from 4 to 10 really at most times. So in the West, OKC.
Hold on, Detroit, baby.
Detroit. I don't want to talk about Detroit,
bro. They look good.
I know they do. They do. Look good.
They look solid.
They look really good. Cade has become a guy.
Dude,
we didn't know if he could. He can.
As much hate as he got,
it was a little bit deserved. He was not playing up to what we thought he was supposed to be.
For sure. But the fact that now we're seeing him blossom into what the expectation was.
Yeah,
it's
kind of crazy.
We can all eat dirt.
Yeah, pretty crazy. They're doing really well. Miami got out of the Jimmy Butler business, so they are kind of in the play-in, which honestly actually isn't really new. They've been in the play-in the past 2 years.
Yeah.
Western Conference, OKC's been absolutely gutting people left and right all season long.
Yeah.
They've held a pretty strong lead at #1 overall.
Makes sense.
In the league. And then Memphis is kind of not really the surprise of the season, but they are
surprising me.
A lot of people were really high on Memphis this offseason. I also was. We've seen them be the 2 seed before, so I'm not surprised they're the 2 seed, but they've been consistent. Ja hasn't been consistent, which is probably going to be a problem, but they look beatable too. But they're a good team. Denver has rallied since Christmas, really.
Yeah.
They've gone back and forth with Memphis over the 2 seed.
They look beatable too.
They look honestly, and we'll get into that a little bit. A lot of these teams look beatable. LA is now up to 4.
Yeah, bro.
The
winning.
Rockets, who were holding fast at 2 for a long time in the West, they've kind of cooled down. They're back down to 5.
Came back to reality.
Clippers, who jumped out to a crazy lead at the beginning of the season, they've definitely kind of come back down to earth, but kind of a sneaky team. And then Golden State, who looked dead on arrival for most of the season, has a pulse.
Yep.
And they look a little scary since the trade deadline. So
pretty scary.
And then we got Minnesota struggling, and then of course we got Dallas kind of what looks to be a little bit in free fall. But not as bad a free fall as the damn Phoenix Suns, who look like a dumpster fire.
Really bad, bro.
So that's kind of where our standings are right now. If I didn't mention the teams, they're probably inconsequential this season right now.
Well, the Kings, they're the playing. You glazed over them, and they're the ones that are in the play-in. You went to the Suns.
Yeah, well, because the Suns are a bigger deal. We all know what the Kings are. We know what's gonna happen with the Kings.
Yeah.
The Suns, people were like really high on the Suns going into the season. I don't think we were as high, but I didn't expect them to be out of the play-in. That's insane. They also almost almost fire sailed literally all their players in the middle of the trade deadline.
Yeah.
So that's been a lot of stuff. So, all right, what I want to really get into right now is I want to do a little belief meter time for the teams that we truly believe are going to make that jump after the All-Star break for the last 30 games of the season. Historically, there's always one or two. Last year, we saw the Dallas Mavericks be that team. They, after not starting off too great, they got to the All-Star break. I think they were around 500, if not below, and they ripped off a good amount of wins. I think they got all the way up. What were they in that tournament? They were like the 4 seed, I think. Last year in the playoffs, the Dallas was like the 4 seed, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. They were 4 or 5. And then we saw them birth that into a trip into the finals with honestly like a really good team and one that I expected to come back and be really good this year. They were kind of struggling at the beginning of the season, and then of course the whole Luka thing went down, and now they're kind of out of touch with what we thought they could ever be. But
I don't agree.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about that different time. But I basically want to get to what are the teams that we believe in could be that team, that Dallas, this year's Dallas.
So are we talking about just to make a push for a better seed?
To make that 30-game push that actually pushes them into the realm of like, oh, no, we could see them like making the Western Conference Finals, Eastern Conference Finals, or Finals type run.
Okay. So not just pushing for a better seed, but like basically go on a run for...
to look like a formidable team in the playoffs that could take out anybody. So I do have a couple precedents I want to lay out for you for championship teams that we've seen in the past, and historically these stats are starting to hold up. Biggest one being, I've seen this go around the internet a lot recently. It's the 40-20 rule that Phil Jackson kind of brought to light a while ago. What does this mean? It means historically teams that have gotten their 40th win before their 20th loss have a much greater chance of winning the championship. At the time of me making this note that we share, Boston was not in that group. They now are in that group. That group includes the Thunder and the Cavs, and now Boston. Everybody else earned their 20th loss before getting their 40th win. Yep. 37 of the last 41 champions have done this. So it's pretty... The only ones who haven't done it are truly historical teams. 95 Rockets, 01 Lakers, the 04 Pistons, and the 06 Heat. So like they were like not... They're anomalies, but if you go back and look at how many Hall of Famers are on all those teams, it's a lot.
For sure. Yeah.
So historically, this stat kind of holds up. Another one I want to give to you before we get into maybe one of these lists is... 31 of 33 NBA champions have had a player finish in the top 7 of MVP voting of the last 33. So this second tier of group that maybe could contend for the title would include, as of right now with the odds, could include the Knicks, the Nuggets, the Bucks, the Lakers, and we're going to give Steph the credit, so we're going to kind of throw the Warriors in there because even though Steph's not in the top 7 MVP voter right now, I think we both agree he's probably a top 7 player in the league. So they get the bump. The only exceptions to that were the 04 Pistons again and the 14 Spurs. They were the only teams that did not have a top 7 MVP voter but won the championship. So, yeah, those are kind of the facts that I kind of went off to try and limit down some of these teams. First one I want to bring up to you as we get into this is the obvious one.
Okay.
The Los Angeles Lakers.
Okay.
Who added a very important piece in Luka Doncic.
Uh-huh.
Over the past 15 to 20 games, they've been the number 1 overall defense. My question is really, will that defense hold up? We did see that they finally beat Denver the other night. Could they continue to do that? And then, are they going to continue to operate in this kind of make or break system without a center, really? Because like they have guys back there, but they don't have like a guy, if that makes sense. So. Yeah. I don't know. What do you think about the Lakers being one of these teams? They've shot up. They're the number 4 seed right now. So.
Yeah. No. They're
okay.
They're not going to win it.
So why? So what do you think the ceiling is for this team? First, let me ask you.
Second round.
Really? So you can't even see them getting to the Western Conference Finals?
No.
Okay. No. Yeah, go ahead.
They don't have a center. And if they did have a center, I would say this is like a
pretty bona
what's it
fide.
called? Championship team,
yeah.
A contender. But it's just when we get to the playoffs, everything goes to 10.
Mm-hmm.
Teams are game planning for their specific matchups. I do think the Lakers have good amount of depth. They have good shooting. And they have two just incredibly talented players on LeBron and Luka, who not only can score at a very high level, but can both of them can facilitate at the highest level as well. My problem is once we look at some of these teams, right? I say second round because I think they can beat somebody. They can beat a team at the bottom echelon, depending on who they get. Right? You know, Dallas would be a nightmare matchup against them because
if they're healthy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. A healthy Mavericks, and by the time playoffs comes, they will be healthy. Now, whether they can stay healthy, it's another thing. Anyways, but once we get to the second round, we're kind of really getting down to like top teams in the West.
Can I tell you the matchup currently as it stands, what it would be right now? So first round would be Lakers versus Rockets. Who would you take?
Lakers.
Yeah, I'd probably take the Lakers as well, just because of the
Rockets.
inexperience.
Rockets are young, yeah. And their big is not even really big.
Yeah, no.
Sengun is not even.
We're gonna assume right now because they are the 8th seed, but we're gonna playing aside. I disregarded the plan for these.
Sure.
We're gonna assume the 7th and 8th seed. Thunder would be playing the Warriors in that matchup, which that would be an interesting matchup. I don't quite know who I'd actually pick in that.
Wait,
matchup.
Lakers, Warriors?
They would pick the Lakers would either play the Warriors in the next round or the Thunder in the next round.
See, they lose.
So
both
you're saying they lose both of those.
Warriors would be, and that's one of my matchups for later. But
I know. So I don't want to get too much in the
I don't
matchups
wanna
now,
get
but
that's a conversation. I think the Thunder handle
I
the
think it's
Lakers.
more of a conversation than I want to say off rip. Only because Luka historically has kind of destroyed the Thunder, but
Yeah, but he also
Thunder are a better team, 100% a better team.
But who did Luka have at center last year when he beat the Thunder? He had Gafford,
Yeah, no, I
he
agree.
had
That was a
Lively.
big reason they did beat
It's a
them. But
big
Luka
reason.
himself also he just kind of bullies that team a little bit. Like,
Sure, and Luka can score 40 or 50 a night. It's still like
so you would for
The
sure take the
bigs.
Thunder in that second round matchup.
yeah.
I think I would too, but it would definitely be. I would have to sit there and like.
I think
think about
I think it'd be like a 4-1 or 4-2.
Really like that kind of deep. Okay.
No, the Thunder. I think the Thunder are the same as last year, but they're more experienced, more
Yeah.
mature, and they're just cleaner.
They are a cleaner team. So yeah, that's my first team. I do think they're already kind of showing that potential a little bit. What's their win streak right now? If they have one, they're 8-2 in the last 10.
Yeah. So they're playing.
They're
good.
playing really well.
But that's the thing, though.
Yeah.
Playoffs is just different.
I agree.
It's just really different
When
because
you have to see a team so many times and they
Exactly.
have a whole series to game plan what your weakness is.
exactly.
I do agree the center thing is ultimately going to be what sinks them this season. That being said, man, if they make a move in the offseason,
That's what I'm saying.
this
that can
team
be
is
scary.
going to be really
now,
good.
that being said, LeBron's gonna be 41, but
I don't care.
it really doesn't matter.
41-year-old LeBron is your second best playoff person on a
It's
championship
crazy, bro.
team. That's a good,
Dude, as of the last
the
like,
best second option you could
as
have.
of the last since they've gotten Luka, bro, like he's benefited so much, and he's dropping like 30 a night, bro.
Yeah, he had a little slow start at the beginning,
They're
but
figuring it out.
he's figuring it out.
Yeah,
He's
bro.
back to form.
And
He looks
Luka's-
angry again. He looks like he's mean
And
mugging himself.
Luka's not even scoring crazy.
No.
He's just giving you, between 15 to 25, but he's also giving you like 12 rebounds,
Yeah.
10 assists.
Their
it's like-
offense is going to be wild. That has actually been one of their issues too, because Anthony Davis has not always like lived up to the offensive like output that he needs to.
but when he does,
Yeah. But so second team I have for you, and we've mentioned them a few times now in the conversation.
Yeah.
The Warriors.
yeah.
So I definitely, on seeing this trade, my instant reaction was, this literally doesn't fucking matter.
Wow. That was not my
I,
reaction.
maybe that's harsh, but like I legitimately thought to myself, I just don't really see how this moves the needle for them. Like it kind of
Wow.
just seems like they swapped to. Obviously, Jimmy is better than Wiggins.
Jimmy is the Michael Jordan
But-
of Andrew Wiggins.
that's a good way of putting it. But the role is the same on the team.
Yes.
And so now where I didn't see and where I from what I gathered, a lot of people didn't really see coming is that you're getting everything Andrew Wiggins was giving you versatile wise, because Jimmy's been healthy,
but better.
but better because he's scoring. He is that better second scoring option.
Absolutely.
And can get a bucket when you need to, which is the whole reason the Warriors won the championship in 22, because they had a guy like Wiggins who was just doing that night in and night out in the playoffs, aside from Steph going crazy, obviously. And also the whole Jimmy Draymond thing is actually working as a nice little two-man.
Hello.
another great thing that they benefit off of is the fact of how much Steph is a complete distraction on the court for every team.
Yeah.
And so they kind of suck the weight, like he sucks the weight away, and Jimmy and Draymond are able to kind of like feast on the little two-man thing. Now, where I think another thing, they've been top 10 in offensive rating nearly the entire season. They've been top 10 in defensive rating as well. They're also top 10 net. So, like, they've been actually like a pretty good team since this trade has gone down, like a really good team. And they're climbing slowly. I mean, right now, as we stand, they're the 7th seed. They've been 7-3 in their last games. They're only a half game back from the Clippers.
Yeah.
And then at that point, they got to climb a little bit of a gap if they want to get to the Rockets. But
Yeah. I don't know if they can.
I don't know if they can overcome that just with the way the Rockets are
overcome.
playing. Unless the Rockets hit like an insane slump.
Nah,
They are 5-5 in their last 10. So
I don't think
not
they
unrealistic.
can catch. I don't think I don't know if they'll catch the Rockets. It'd be a long shot. I do think the Warriors will catch the Clippers
and be that 6th seed.
and I hope they are 6th seed. I don't want to see them in the play-in, because I want to see them in the playoffs. Like I want that secured.
Yeah.
Now everything you just said is exactly what I thought when that trade happened.
So you were in 100% on this.
Yeah, I mean, think about it, dude. It's like what I said is what I believe is Jimmy Butler is the Michael Jordan of Andrew Wiggins. It's like you're getting everything Wiggins gave you, but 10 times better.
Yeah.
And then what have we been saying the last 3 years? What happens when we go to the playoffs? Jimmy Butler turns into Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And it's like he just has this gear that not many people have when it comes playoff time.
Yeah.
He has a switch that he can hit where he is going to be insane.
Yeah, he's got killer in his eyes.
And the fact that he is the second option, that is insane. 2, playing with 2 very, very unselfish stars or superstars, whatever you want to call Draymond, whatever. But
defensively, he's still pretty good.
yeah, absolutely. And either way, 2 incredibly unselfish people. Like with Jimmy being there, like, yeah, Draymond talks a lot, and however you feel about Draymond, you still cannot deny that when anybody who's on that Warriors roster, he will get along with, unless you're Jordan Poole. But everybody else, like when they brought KD in, okay, cool, and then they found a way to kind of make it work.
That was a little bit of the reason they broke up, though, was Draymond.
Yeah, but they already won, so it doesn't matter. They already got the ring.
That's fair.
And so now with Jimmy coming on, I just think the defensive duo of Jimmy Butler and Draymond is going to be pretty suffocating.
It's annoying.
It's going to be very annoying.
Yeah.
Because Draymond can guard.
He can guard 1 through 5 for the most part.
You could say 1 through 5, maybe now, maybe more like 3 through 5. Jimmy can guard 1 through 5.
Yeah.
And then you have.
You think Jimmy can guard centers? I don't think Jimmy can guard centers.
Jimmy can guard anybody.
There's a couple centers I don't think he would be able to.
Yeah, okay, yeah, the Jokic's and the Embiid's. Yeah.
Well, he's going to have to play Jokic.
Yeah, but they have an actual center.
Hey, do they?
Yeah, he's going to be on Jamal. That's
no, he is.
That's a problem.
That's a problem. Yeah,
because Jimmy is suffocating.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm just thinking that, and then offensively, right? You have Steph Curry running around like a madman.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to like focus a lot towards him because he'll give you 56.
Yeah.
And then if you do, then Draymond can really kind of just go on the other side of the floor with Jimmy, and then Jimmy in the pick and roll with Draymond is going to be.
No, I agree. Yeah,
it's.
I guess
it's
my
scary,
only fear
bro.
with it when it happened was like I just genuinely didn't know if we'd ever see that Jimmy again.
Oh yeah,
he's had a lot of injuries and he is older, so like I don't.
Yeah.
Not everybody's LeBron. Like I don't think that's a.
Yeah.
He has been an injury-ridden player for a lot of his career, where he goes through big stretches of not being like 100%. So I just if anything I didn't believe in, it was that more than anything. Also, the Warriors are kind of.
I hate that argument though, because it's like anybody can get hurt.
I agree, but there are players. There are players that are more injury prone than others. There are.
Yeah, but it's like, anybody can land on their ankle and they're out for 3 weeks.
I agree, but when somebody is historically more injury prone, I'm more worried about them than just a random injury from somebody else.
Sure, I never agree with that. But
the Warriors are also sneaky deep. Got a lot of players on their team.
Yeah, and Jimmy investing in this pod kid.
Yeah, he's played better since Jimmy's
been
come
looking
on.
really good
because he was struggling after having a really good season last year.
Yeah.
So,
but Jimmy historically is great with young kids,
little white dudes. You can say it.
yeah. I mean that, but just young guys in general.
Yeah.
Like even in Minnesota, like the young guys, like not necessarily white, but sure Tyler Hero, but also Bam. Bam was a younger player.
Yeah.
When Jimmy originally got to Miami, but But historically, he's really good at investing in the up and coming people. So I think the Warriors benefit that. I think Jimmy obviously brings leadership. He brings experience. He brings an attitude that would be really good for the likes of like someone like Steph. But also just some of their wing guys. Like he just brings an intensity that I think will help see a different side of the Warriors.
Yeah.
And they're dude, I really like them. They're exciting.
They are exciting.
And they're easy to root for now that we're outside of the dynasty.
Yeah.
Now that we're away from the dynasty, it's like
I've always liked the Warriors.
I know you do, but you like a lot of
winning teams.
Yes.
I like to see dominant teams.
Yeah, the Grizzlies when they were good, the Denver, I know. It's fine.
I still am on the Grizzlies. I never left the Grizzlies.
Yeah, sure.
I never left the Grizzlies.
Yeah, you're right. So
you're being annoying. Don't do that.
No, I'm just you're right.
You're acting like I'm a bandwagoner.
Anyways,
you're so annoying.
But now that the Warriors are away and they're kind of like the underdog or they're not favorites
they're
or whatever.
Not favorites. You're not even close.
They're fun to watch. They're fun to root for.
Last team, and you did kind of almost transition it into that one that I have written down is this is kind of a pipe dream. I don't really have many good statistics for this team, other than just maybe the vibes. But honestly, the vibes took a little bit of a tumble this week. Was the Timberwolves. And when I wrote this down, this was before the suspension by one Anthony Edwards after incurring his 16th or 17th technical foul this season.
16th.
Most in the league. They were playing a little bit better. It's not really translating to wins. They're still 5-5 in their last 10. You know, their ratings as far as offensive and defensive aren't like stellar. They're not consistently top like the Warriors kind of are in that range, or like the Lakers have been lately in defense. But since Julius Randle has been kind of hurt, and since DiVincenzo has been kind of hurt, we have seen a lot of their other guys flash a little bit more, and it seems like the system is a little bit more fluid. And it looked like they were starting to find something.
Yeah.
And with the way Ant's been playing, I mean, that's all you really need for that spark to start getting going. They've just been a weird team this year. They've been struggling all over the place. Julius Randle has not been really what they paid for. Even DiVincenzo hasn't really been the greatest while he's been on the floor. Even Naz Reid, I would say, like not having as good of a year as we've seen him in the past. So that being said, Ant is is doing his thing. Like Ant is the reason I definitively put them in this list still is because Ant is a top 7 player in the league, in my opinion. And so and he's shooting the 3 ball better than anybody else, which is something was not on my bingo card at all. But I just feel like Ant's ability to take over, coupled with if they can find any of the system, maybe they can get that boost they need to climb a little bit.
Yeah.
Because they're right there with the Warriors, like in terms of getting out of the play-in and getting to that 6th seed.
Yeah.
Again, 5th seed is going to be a little bit of an upwards mountain for them.
They definitely don't have a chance for that.
But if they can get to the 6th seed and avoid the play-in, I think that's possible. But I think their destiny probably is the 7th seed at the ceiling right now.
Yeah, I think they're playing bad.
And that's just a scary place to be because, like, you could be. It could in your mind is like this is a guarantee win, like we're getting the playoffs, but like you never know. And they would have to lose 2 games, so that benefits them. But
how I see it is right. I think the Warriors will take the 6th seed, the Clippers will drop the 6, and then Wolves or Clippers will be 7 or 8. Right?
Yeah.
So Clippers or Wolves will be 7 or 8.
They're going to play each other.
So they're going to play each other. Loser of that has to play unless the Mavericks could jump them. But if the Mavericks stay,
Mavericks could also get eliminated by just like a crazy Zach LaVine game.
If the Mavericks play, if the loser of the Clippers and Wolves have to play the Mavericks, like that is not something you want to be doing.
No, especially if there are any semblance of healthy. I saw Lively was coming back. I don't know if Gafford is. I know Anthony Davis is not.
Gafford's out for 3 more weeks.
Yeah, and Davis is out for the next month. And Lively's coming back, but I mean he's going to take a minute to ramp up.
Anthony Davis out another month?
I mean, it was only announced like a week and a half ago that he was going to be out that long. Because it was when I was going to the Magic game that he originally got hurt, and then they announced it a week after that he was actually out for like the next 3 to 4 weeks. I don't know how much time has passed since then, but I just assumed it was a month in my mind. I don't really have faith that Dallas is gonna be healthy. I think they're an interesting team if they do get healthy, but I don't have
I'm
faith
higher
they're gonna be
on
healthy.
Dallas.
Yeah, I know you are, and I definitely see why it can work with Dallas. I don't think Dallas is gonna be that team. That being said, I don't want to see them in the playoffs, especially in a play-in situation. A series, I don't think I'm gonna care about, but because like 8 seed, I don't think
reevaluated next week.
Reevaluated next week. Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I don't have much faith in that, but Dallas, like if they got to go play OKC, I don't really see them winning that series. If they somehow got to the 7th seed and got a matchup with Memphis in the first round, that's more interesting.
I could see them beat Memphis.
I could see that. I could see them squeaking out a win against Memphis.
Even Thunder, I would not want to be seeing Dallas.
I don't think the Thunder is scared of Dallas at all in their current
I would
construction.
not want to be seeing them.
I don't think so.
Yeah, their current construction. I'm saying they're going to be healthy by the playoffs. Time.
You say that like it's a guaranteed. Like write it, pen it in.
We have like a month and some change to the playoffs.
I get it, but like they've been hurt nearly all. I have them on my fantasy team. They've been hurt nearly all season, and then Anthony Davis is always a question mark.
Yeah, but the last few years he's been healthy in the playoffs.
I mean, yeah, but it was really last year was his healthiest year he's had all his career, and then he's been healthy in the playoffs, but like he hasn't had an injury like this in a while, and he's what 32 now. I don't know. I just don't think it's as much of a write it in permanent marker that you're kind of saying it with. I think it's like a pencil. It's like this could definitely not happen.
Yeah,
They could definitely not be healthy.
I don't agree, but we move. I just don't agree with you.
That's
but
fine. Do you have any teams out of the East? I know I mentioned 3 teams in the West. I don't really think. I think the only team in my mind that might pop out of the East is like Milwaukee. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They've still got Giannis. Kuzma's been there. I haven't really tracked how well Kuzma is doing since he's been there. But maybe them. But outside of that, I really like. Is there really anybody else outside of the 2 that we really trust in Cleveland and Boston? Like I feel like that's really it. It's like them and a bunch of other guys.
I don't know. I think the East is not that black and white. I think it just depends on who matches up with who, and who's healthy. But there's some matchups that definitely, you probably prefer not to see. I think you really don't kind of want to see Milwaukee if they're healthy, if you can, avoid it.
Yeah. Well, matchup wise, I get that. But like, is there any teams you see making that like that stretch where they're just like they're going crazy the last 30 games of the season?
I can see Milwaukee making a deep run into the playoffs. The regular season and into the playoffs. I can see the Pacers.
They've been playing better as of late.
Yeah, maybe not as deep. Knicks really going to be depending on if they're healthy or not. And then, of course, like I think Celtics. And then, honestly, dude, I'm really not as high on the Cavs as I should be or a lot of people are.
I think it's as you should be.
I don't want to say they're a fluke because they're not. But come playoff time, I'd be very curious. I think obviously with being in the 1 seed, they're going to make it to definitely second round, most likely Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
But I think, know, man.
Just a quick tangent on the Cavs. They look like a more perfect version of what Mitchell's Jazz teams were. And that's why I believe in them more. Because instead of like Conley, you've got Garland. And instead of Gobert, you've got Mobley. And an Allen, who's like kind of a tandem with Mobley. I just think it's a much better team than anything we've seen with Donovan Mitchell before. So I definitely very much believe in the Cavs.
But if they run into Milwaukee, I'd be scared.
Oh, it'd still be a great playoff matchup for sure.
And then Boston, I would love to see Cavs Boston. I think that would be really interesting.
So since we're talking about this, let's get into some playoff matchups we would really like to see. I got through 10. Some of the East ones I wrote down were a little bit of stretches to whether I'd actually like care to see them or not. I want to read to you what the playoff matchups are right now, though. Like if we just went down it, if we did all the seeds held right now.
Okay.
Cleveland would play Miami, first round. Boston would play Orlando.
Pretty sure Cavs played Miami last year. Cavs blew them out.
Yeah, they
4-1.
Was that the first series they played?
4-1.
Yeah.
Oh.
So Boston would play Orlando. Detroit would play the Knicks, and the Pacers would have a rematch with Milwaukee in the first round. Oh. That's the East. The West would be OKC versus Minnesota first round. Golden State versus Memphis. Clippers versus Denver, and LA versus Houston. So, go ahead and you start us off. Of your ones that you've written down, give me one of the matchups you're really wanting to see. It can be top of the list. It can be outside puncher's chance. You know.
I'm gonna start with less heavy hitters.
Okay.
I'm gonna start with just some like interesting one. I would like to see, because I know your version of this, and I want to let you say it because I would like to see it too. Knicks versus Orlando.
Interesting. Okay.
I think that'd be.
That was not on my. It's not on my bullets.
Matchup wise, I think it'd be very interesting. Because of the Knicks front court and Orlando's front court, I think would be fun to watch. And then, I mean, we did just get the news about Suggs.
Yeah, it sucks. We're cooked.
That hurts a lot.
A lot less interesting.
I would have liked, because Suggs is like the Scottie Pippen. No,
you're really yep.
He's like
you're almost there. You're almost there. Get there. Get there then rest. Get there then rest.
I'm trying to think of a really good. He's like the Tracy McGrady of Josh Hart's.
I was gonna say of Drew Holiday's.
No, of Josh Hart's, I would say. Sure, you can say of Drew's. If Josh Hart is a version of Drew, but I don't think he is. I think it's kind of a little bit different.
What would you say is the difference between Holiday and Drew?
Scoring.
You think Hart is a better scorer?
No, Drew.
You see, like Jalen was starting to be a better scorer. That's why I would actually put him towards Holiday more.
But Jalen does more. Of course, the defensive aspect, but I think Hart and Drew both have that.
Yeah.
But he does like the scrappy, the dirty work, kind of like the.
You don't think Drew does that?
Not as much as he has in the past. He's older.
He's
That's what I'm saying.
He's old.
So that's what I'm saying. Current things.
Sure.
Anyways, but so that would be fun to see like each of. I don't think they would guard each other. I think Suggs would have been on Brunson, which that would have been fun.
That would have been a fun matchup.
That would have been fun. So it's like I just think it would have been a fun matchup. I think Knicks win.
Yeah.
But matchup wise, I think it would have been kind of exciting.
There was a reality.
Cat Paolo.
Yeah, there is still a world in which that matchup could come to place if we claw our way out of the play-in somehow, which does not look likely at this point.
Knicks Orlando would be fun.
It would. I would not like that matchup.
No, for sure you shouldn't.
We would lose.
You shouldn't like that matchup.
Because for some reason I looked this up. Our defensive rating has been it started off really hot like it did last year. And then we took a massive dip. We've been terrible. And then since Paolo got back, we've been slowly climbing. But then like we've had 2 or 3 games where just like we just get bludgeoned. And I think offensive wise, now where I do think we could really abuse the Knicks, which is the same problem every team is going to give the Knicks, is because Thibodeau just continues to do the thing of I'm playing all my guys every minute I can.
Yeah.
They're going to run out of steam again this year in the playoffs. We already are starting to see the cracks of injuries kind of come through a little bit. I think OG had a small problem.
Yeah.
Cat had that knee thing that he had on the sideline.
Still does. But I will say the Knicks are deeper than they were last year.
They were. But
But if he plays them,
the problem is you're playing them all the time. And also their defense has been abysmal as of late. They've been tanking defensive-wise, which is weird for them, for a Tibbs team.
Yeah, but
and
Hart
with the
has been
wings
out.
they have, and Hart being out, that doesn't help. So, like,
That doesn't help.
I just don't know. Yeah, I mean, I like that matchup. I think
It would be fun to watch.
I'll start off on the bottom tier as well, and we'll kind of stay in this range for a second before we get to some of our big daddies. I think a better and more fun matchup for Orlando would be Boston.
Yeah,
and I know you knew I was getting into this.
Yeah.
The only reason I say
don't
this,
think it
listen,
is, bro.
Listen, would it obviously? Now I wrote this down when I thought Jalen Suggs was coming back. Let's put that into perspective first.
Sure, you can have them.
The only thing I think they really give us trouble on is the fact that they're just going to shoot us out the building.
Yes.
That's going to be like the reason why we lose.
Oh, bad.
That being said,
Because of the worst shooting team.
we have the size and bodies to put on their guys. So if we can kind of smother that 3-point line a little bit, that would definitely make it interesting. Now, offensively wise, though, we wouldn't be able to keep up.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying for the pure defensive matchups, I think that would be an interesting thing because, like, we would get Tatum on Paolo, we would get Brown on Franz, vice versa. Probably Franz on Tatum on the defensive end because he's a better defender than Paolo is right now. I don't really know who Paolo. Maybe even if we're going like small, put Paolo on Kristaps, but we'd probably put like Goga on Kristaps. Also, I said this way back in the beginning of the season too when I thought we would have Mo as well, and Mo is also not around anymore. So like center-wise, it would be kind of a tank. And that's why I put this as like an honorable mention. Because once upon a time, I think this could have been a fun matchup.
You've been saying it all year. And it's funny because I understand.
I don't think Boston would want to play Orlando just because of how scrappy we are. Like I don't think they would like that.
Sure.
It would put miles on them before they have to get to their next opponents.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. But at the end of the day, like Boston has proven that they can play physical. So you're not going to out physical them. That's just not going to happen. You can be physical and then force them to be physical back, and like put miles on them. But you guys being the worst shooting team in the NBA and them being
that would suck.
It's just like that alone is going to be very hard. You got to really be praying for them to have one of those historic, which they do.
Yeah.
They in the playoffs, they always have that one game where they can't hit a lick, and
we talked about this last
lose.
year too. A lot of their threes, like they generate a lot of open threes.
Yes.
I do think we could close that gap a little bit because of our length and because of our size. A lot of our guys are they're just big.
Yeah.
So that's like the only reason I kind of have that thought process.
I think you guys would get swept.
Listen, we probably maybe 5. Maybe.
Yeah,
if Paolo just has if Paolo and Fran just have like a crazy game, maybe we steal a game at home. But no, we're not. We're not coming.
I think
we're getting bounced first round. I just want to put that out there now. Like I've been big on Orlando all season. We cannot overcome the offensive woes and the injuries that we have. We cannot. We will not this year. It just will not happen.
Yeah.
Looking forward to next year. All right, next matchup I got.
Oh, you got okay.
I'm gonna go first. We'll bounce back to you. Yeah. I'm gonna head over to the West.
Okay.
This is one that's my top 5. But it's like it is 5. I think, and it's definitely a possibility that this could happen. I really want to see the Wolves play the Grizzlies.
Ooh.
And here's why.
Okay.
This was like kind of one of the rivalries that was starting to bud about 2 years ago. Not exactly the same teams. Both kind of imploded in their own ways. Ja obviously had his Ja moment. And the Wolves went through a massive change and looked like they jumped to a title, like a bona fide top 3 team, and now they're back down to kind of a middle of the pack kind of team. But I think there's a lot of bad blood still between these players. A lot of those players from the matchups are still on these teams, especially from the Grizzlies side. And from the Wolves side, even like Ant's there. So he's always going to be, he's always going to be chirping. I also think it's interesting with the Ja and Ant dynamic.
Yeah.
Because before Ant really busted onto the scene last year and we all were like,
it was Ja.
Hailing him as the chosen one, it was Ja. And Ja has not really played up to what we've seen from him in the past this year. So I think that would be an interesting, plus like matchup wise, you got Naz Reid on like JJJ. So there's size to match up. Desmond Bane is an animal on both sides of the ball. And so like him probably guarding Ant, and then Ant, I'm assuming he would probably guard Ja just because of Ja's really
the
athleticism of it. And so, but also like the Wolves have a lot of really big, lengthy wings like Orlando has. And so that would be interesting to see them match up against, again, another deep team in the Grizzlies who have been playing really well this season and who honestly have shifted to playing more through Triple J than Ja. And so I just think that'd be really fun just for the pure, I think just the scrappiness of it would go hard.
Dude, that I didn't even think of that series.
Yeah.
That series would be
it's
really
possibility
fun,
right now.
bro.
Wolves got to get to 7, but it's a possibility.
Dude, that would be so fun.
Yeah.
Bro.
Be good.
That'd be really fun.
Which way would you lean in a matchup?
Ooh,
in that matchup,
man.
Because that's tough.
I'd probably lean Grizzlies.
Yeah.
Because like the Wolves, man,
if Ant can somehow find the magic,
this time last year, they were just clicking and they carried that momentum into the playoffs. Like this dysfunctional kind of thing they've got going on is scaring me.
Yeah.
What I don't like is that Randall has been unhealthy. And if he does get healthy by the time playoff comes, you are now starting the playoffs with him that you have to add him to the game plan. And that's just he's been known to be a chemistry killer.
And he has been when he's been healthy for the Wolves this year.
So it's like that, then you're gonna be adding that, and it's just gonna get messy. So like I'm really scared for the Wolves.
Yeah.
And the number one reason why I don't believe in the Wolves is because they decided to trade Cat instead of Gobert.
Yeah.
I'm the biggest Gobert hater, and I think with him still on your roster, you're not going to win.
I'm not gonna lie. After now, with the benefit of hindsight, I know when that trade first happened, I didn't really know who won, and I think who are you leaning more towards on that? Were you leaning more towards the Wolves on that one?
I think because the Wolves got the first round pick.
I think you were leaning more towards Wolves
because the
I
Wolves
didn't
got
really
the first
know
round pick.
what to. I thought it was kind of like okay. I don't really see why this benefits either team. Clearly, it looked like it benefited the Knicks a lot at the beginning of the season, and the Wolves have just been a dysfunctional
Well, that's the
mess.
thing, though. The Knicks have shown you what them fully healthy, what that looks like. And it is scary.
It's scary.
But you have to be healthy.
Yeah.
And then the Wolves, I thought Randall would figure it out, maybe. But then also, I like DiVincenzo a lot.
I had more faith in DiVincenzo elevating that team than Randall.
And now, I don't know what his injury report status is, but if he comes back, that's going to help a lot too, because he's a good two-way guy.
I saw he was closer. I saw that
and
somewhere.
He had a toe injury, I think, which
that's
sucks.
That's a stupid injury.
That just sucks. But he's a good two-way guy. So I'm really just worried about Randall. And
I think Randall is the single biggest reason why I probably won't be picking them in any playoff match.
But to answer your question, I'd probably lean Grizzlies.
Yeah.
But I would
agree.
love a 6-game series.
I would lean, but that would be a very slight lean.
Yeah.
And it really depends on what the Wolves look like going into the playoffs.
No, for sure.
All right.
I agree.
What you got?
Dang, that was a really good one. I've got a good one, but I
did base the. I don't know if you did this.
What?
I did base these off of realism as well, for the most part, like what we could realistically see.
No, I didn't.
Okay, cool.
Because the reason I didn't
Go
is
ahead, give me your Mavs one.
Well, because some of these you could see second round.
Okay,
So that's why I didn't really
give me your Mavs one if you've got a Mavs one.
I
mean, obviously, there's the big one.
I've got Mavs Grizzlies.
Mavs Grizzlies. Okay,
that would be interesting.
Explain that.
The big situation, I think, just the trifecta of Dallas against JJJ in their front court would be interesting. And then from the backcourt perspective, gotta guard Kyrie, which is hard to do.
Yeah,
the spacing that Dallas creates through almost an inside-out kind of play would be very interesting. Obviously, with Clay being on the perimeter, I just think the Mavs are a scary team. Just matchup wise and what they can do, especially with Anthony Davis playing at the 4, because Anthony Davis can score at all 3 levels. So can Kyrie. Clay is your perimeter, and Gafford is really going to be doing all your dirty work. Him and Lively are going to be doing all your dirty work down low. And so JJJ is not going to have a great time on the boards, on the glass, because if Gafford doesn't get it, you also have Anthony Davis that's almost 7 foot as well, and he's a fantastic rebounder at that. So it just can cause some problems, I think, at different, where the Grizzlies maybe have the advantage in the backcourt, Dallas has the advantage in the front court, and it'd be the kind of battle of that. So I again, that's one of my lower tier matchups.
Fully healthy Mavs. Let's say they get fully healthy. They're back to full health. Guaranteed no injuries.
Yep.
I'll give you that. Throughout the playoffs. What do you feel their ceiling is?
Second round or conference finals.
You think they can make conference finals?
Depending on matchups, Depending on who they get.
So they're 9 right now. Let's say they get to the 8, so they'd have to play the Thunder and then the winners of the Lakers Rockets. So that's definitely not unwinnable.
It's not like they can never do that.
Yeah.
It could happen.
Yeah.
Would it be hard? Absolutely, because if you're fighting from play-in, you've got to play 1 or 2 seed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's gonna suck.
I'll give you the Mavericks matchup I had in this, and it was the big one. I don't care
Lakers?
what way we say it. The Mavs versus the Lakers would be one of the most electric series we've seen in years.
For sure.
Just for the narrative.
For sure.
I don't really even care about the matchups. I think both present interesting problems for each other.
I think
the Mavs present interesting problems in the front court.
Very big problems.
And the Lakers present interesting problems for the Mavs in the backcourt.
Yeah.
Because I don't know you got 2 guys to guard Luka and LeBron. I don't know. Or add Austin Reeves into that equation, who's been playing really well.
And Connect,
who's just been
Rui.
shooting. Rui's been playing better offensively. So but again, defensively wise, they don't have 2 men to guard those 3 guys.
Yeah.
But that just narrative wise, dude, that would go insane.
But the problem isn't while the front court basically the Dallas would out rebound them 100-1. But the problem is, like, Gafford and Lively need Kyrie to create for them.
That's true.
Anthony Davis doesn't.
They're not creators. Yeah.
Anthony Davis is a creator.
Yeah.
So but that duo of Kyrie and Anthony Davis could be interesting.
Anthony Davis is a creator too, but he's a creator in his own right, whereas Kyrie can be a creator in his own right and a creator for others.
Sure, yeah.
So that's why, like, I agree with you. Like, Gafford and Lively really would need Kyrie to be a big part of that.
I honestly would be curious to see how, because we've seen the only other time we've seen Anthony Davis play with a really good center was when he played with Boogie.
Yeah.
And they were scary
Yeah,
together.
that clip's been going. That's been a hot topic all week I've seen.
So, like, I would be very curious to see now what Anthony Davis will do playing with a Gafford or Lively with him as well.
Yeah.
Like,
When they won why'd they win the
problems.
title in 2020? A big part was because they had JaVale and Dwight
Yeah.
playing that. So
it's like, again,
I agree.
That's a whole dynamic
I
that we
think-
haven't seen yet because he's been playing
Yeah.
the 5 for the last, like,
the Mavs are
4
so
years, 5 years?
interesting because, like, I agree. I could, like, if you told me, like, guaranteed with a bullet they're going to be fully healthy, they're a problem for a lot of teams. They just still don't have, like, the guy. I don't believe Anthony Davis can be the guy. I think we've seen him work best as the number 2 option.
I think, but with Kyrie and Anthony together.
But they're number 2s. Neither one of them are number 1s. Like, I just don't know if both of them can be a number 2, and especially with Kyrie at this age. I don't know if he can be the number 1. We saw him burn out in the finals last year. So I just be worried. But if they listen in the offseason, free agent wise, I got no idea. There's a little bit of a rumor going around that Nico's going to make a play at Kevin Durant over the summer. That could be interesting. I don't know how much they would have to give up, but
It's just
that's a lot of scoring you're inputting into a pretty deep defensive team. So
yeah, I just know with Kevin Durant, wherever he goes, it looks like it should work. And
I agree.
Doesn't.
I agree. Completely agree. So we'll see. You go.
You want me to go?
Yeah.
All right. Let's spice it up. Let's spice it up. Spice it up. This is a matchup I think would be very interesting. I'm going to the East.
Okay.
Cavs, Pacers.
I have this one. Come on now.
This would be good. I think matchup wise, they're both deep.
Yeah.
Especially in their starting 5.
Yeah. Both young.
Starting 5 to starting 5. They're both young. Starting 5 to starting 5. They match up pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
The front court and the back court. I think this would be a fun series. I think Cavs would ultimately win.
It would be a fast series.
Yes. Very
So
fast paced.
fast.
I'd be like this. turn over, layup, deep pass. That being said, I think I'd lean Cavs.
Yeah, I would pick the Cavs still.
But I would go Cavs in like 6.
Yeah, I'd say at most 6.
Yeah.
At most. I still think the Cavs would. I think sheer talent wise, the Cavs just overmatch them pretty heavily. So I think that's why I'd probably pick them in 5 or 6. But I agree, like just the Pacers running up anybody up and down the court this playoffs.
The Cavs and the Pacers, player for player, starting lineup match up so well. Just the Cavs have just a little bit of a better version of the Pacers.
Yeah, they just got more too. Like, who's the second guy on the Pacers?
Siakam.
Okay, that's not terrible, but like,
and then
I guess you're
if
saying,
Siakam's not having a good night, usually that means Miles Turner's having a really good night.
Yeah, so I mean, Miles Turner versus Evan Mobley, I would probably lean Evan Mobley's way. Because I agree. I think a lot of these players are just like
they're just a little bit better versions.
A little bit better versions of each of them.
Yep.
So I completely agree with that. So
I'd go Cavs.
Cavs.
But
they'd be fun.
Fun to watch.
Very fast, very fun.
Fun to watch.
All right, my next one, I'm gonna bring Denver into the fold.
Okay.
I really want to see part 4 of this. I don't care what it is.
I disagree.
Come on, them versus the Lakers.
No.
Come on.
I don't want to see
that.
it.
Would be good.
No,
it might actually go your way this time.
No.
You don't think it would?
This is the one year I would say it wouldn't.
Oh.
I'm 100%.
Just because of Jokic, right? Is that what you're saying?
For the
Because they got
center.
nobody to guard him.
Yeah, dude. This is not.
I
this
was
is not a
was
good matchup.
fully on board with that until really weirdly they just dismantled Denver the other night.
Yeah, they
I don't want to read too much into it, but
Yeah, I
like
wouldn't.
it presented a different problem for Denver that we haven't seen from the Lakers.
But Denver typically takes that step up in the playoffs, and
That's true.
they game plan really well.
Jamal's also been playing very well as of late.
Yeah, and they don't really have a shutdown guy in
Yeah.
LA, so it's like Jamal's
That's
gonna
fair.
be able to do what he does, and then really like if the Nuggets say, oh, we got the Lakers, they're gonna be all right. Game plan, yeah, just give it to Jokic. Because it's like they really do not. Now they
Lakers would be like,
especially-
Rui, it's on you, babe.
Yeah.
Go take care of him.
No,
buddy.
this is the year that I do not want to see
Really?
that matchup.
I
at
think
all.
I think it's interesting
it's-
just because
it's a
it's
sweep.
changed. You really you
Yeah.
that passionate about it.
Yeah,
huh?
it's a sweep. I don't
Wow.
want to see it. I don't want to see it.
I
at
actually
all.
that's funny that we flipped a little bit. I don't think it'd be a sweep. I think it'd be more interesting. Just because I think they actually
I guess-
offensive wise, just Luka is just going to cause problems.
Yeah, I guess I got ahead of myself. Denver's roster is probably the weakest it's been.
Yeah.
I think
for
this
sure.
is the worst roster they've had in recent years when they've been like relevant. That being said, maybe not a sweep, but Jokic he really is gonna
Listen,
he's really gonna cause problems.
what might be the single biggest notch on Jokic's belt by the time his career is over is the fact that he has maybe resurrected Russell Westbrook from Zombieland. Like he's been their little 2-man thing that they run has been really good all year.
Yeah.
And Russ works in that team, and I don't know why. Jokic did the opposite of what LeBron did like 2 years ago when LeBron was like, I need Russell Westbrook on this team.
Yeah,
And it just like burnt into hell.
for sure.
Jokic did the same thing, but it's actually like worked to perfection. It's really weird. I don't understand it. But yeah, I get it. It's old, it's tiring. But
It is.
I
I really
think
don't
it's
want to see
just-
it.
it would be a new spin on the rivalry, which is why I think
Sure.
I'd like it. So
Um,
got two of the best players in the league.
Yeah, I think
I
I don't want to see it, but
that's fine.
you know what I do want to see?
Sure.
Which one do I want to go here? Lakers, Warriors.
Yeah. It's not on my list, but I would be interested.
This is one I want to see. I think matchup wise, it would be because the Warriors have centers, but like,
They're not great. They're just kind of
yeah, they're kind of like
kind of there.
they kind of do their job.
Yeah.
And the Lakers, that same thing.
They're not. That's honestly, yeah, they're very similar like teams.
Very similar teams, and just to see the old heads of like Steph and LeBron go back at it, narrative wise would
that'd
be
be fun.
fun.
Yeah,
Narrative wise would be fun. But then it's like you pose some interesting stuff because like Jimmy and Luka, like Steph on Reeves, I
Is
guess.
that even a matchup? We've never seen a Jim. Who would be like the bigger like? What's the term? Like whatever savage mode they both go into.
Yeah, yeah.
Who
when
would outdo the other in that?
Jimmy turns into Michael Jordan and Luka turns into 2016 LeBron.
Like, who wins that stare down?
I don't know.
I don't know who wins that.
But it's
stare
like
down.
then you got like what Draymond on LeBron, maybe, or Draymond on Rui, maybe Draymond on Rui.
Yeah, I don't think they would put Draymond. Maybe they would.
because who else do they have in their starting lineup?
I don't know who's gonna play defense on LeBron. They probably have to,
be
put him.
to be fair, not many people can.
No,
Um,
maybe you put Jimmy on LeBron and you put Draymond on Luka.
No, you do not
Well,
do that.
because Luka doesn't. no. Here's why. Luka doesn't move as much as LeBron does. LeBron will move, and like I think like Draymond will get. He's not moving around all the time. You stick him on Luka, who's not going to move a lot. That's better for Draymond defensive wise.
Draymond can't even though Luka doesn't move fast, he can't keep up with Luka. Dude,
I disagree.
you can disagree.
I think he'd be fine.
He dismantles way faster.
I agree.
people than
Luka's still
Draymond.
gonna get his 30. I'm just saying,
Dude,
like,
he way faster guards guard him, and he dismantles them.
that's because he's bigger than them. Draymond's his size.
He's bodying.
So you just
Draymond.
think he's just? I don't agree with that.
He's doing that, and Draymond won't even have a chance to body him. He'll be lost
I
in the
think
sauce.
the moments where you're getting Luka getting Draymond would be like the little, stuff he's doing at the top of the key or around the 3-point line, doing his step back shit. Like that's where he's gonna kill Draymond. But I don't think he's blowing by Draymond. I definitely don't think he's bodying him.
Draymond's fouling Luka every single time.
Now fouls, that's also gonna kill the matchup because like Luka's gonna get the fouls. He's just going to.
Yeah, Draymond fouls a lot.
Even if they're swallowing their whistle because
That's
he's so physical.
I'm saying yes, they're both physical, and the tie's gonna go to the offensive player. I think you got to put Jimmy on Luka, and because LeBron is moving, yes, but LeBron does not move nearly with the step
I
that
agree.
he
It's
used
not
to.
as much, but I feel like he's still more of a slasher than Luka's ever gonna be.
Yeah,
even
but
even
Draymond,
at 40.
Draymond, someone slashing is the best thing that you can do.
What's the difference between LeBron slashing on Draymond versus Luka blowing by him? I would rather take the Luka part.
One's off ball, one's with the ball.
And I think Draymond works better on ball as a defender than off
You
ball.
think Draymond's a better defender than Jimmy Butler? Answer that.
No.
Okay, so do you
I
think
think matchup-wise, though.
think LeBron is a better offensive player than Luka?
Right now, no.
So wouldn't you put your best defender on their best offensive player?
Yeah, but we've seen that not happen in the playoffs just because of matchup. Just because who would match up against who.
Draymond is the same size as LeBron. That'd be perfect.
I
And
mean,
if you're-
Draymond's also the same size as Luka. They're all the same size.
Yeah, but listen. I'm just gonna say I think Jimmy's the
I
better.
think LeBron's gonna body people more than Luka does. He's way stronger than Luka.
Yeah, and
Luka's just heavy.
and I would rather have Draymond on that.
That's just so interesting.
LeBron plays in the post. You wouldn't want Draymond on that. You want Jimmy guarding him in the post.
I think if LeBron does go to the post, Draymond will probably switch that on to him. But I
You
think
can't switch once
if
you're in the post.
if
you're
LeBron's
there.
around, like hovering around the 3-point line, I think
You don't have time to switch. If LeBron takes you to the post, you're now stuck there and you have to guard
he
him.
can be on the help side. Draymond can sit on the help side and help that.
LeBron just fades away from it. He does it all the time.
I don't know. I think it'd be better if they're switched.
That boggles my mind, dude.
I think
That
it'd be better if
boggles
they're
my mind.
switched.
Yeah, dude. I question.
I just think they would. I think they'd be better.
Okay.
I think
I'm glad you're not a head
Jimmy's
coach.
athleticism would be better suited for LeBron than Draymond's. Draymond is not athletic right now, and Luka's not a very athletic player. He's skilled. He's not athletic.
Okay.
We saw it all last series when he played against the Celtics.
Do you watch Luka, bro?
Yes. That was the big reason they lost in the playoffs was because he wasn't gaining by the bigger bodies that they were putting on him.
Draymond, there's no chance he has a chance against Luka.
Listen, I get it. I say all this with the stipulation of Luka is still going to get his. I'm saying, though, which one would I rather have on who? I would rather have that.
Okay. There's no.
I don't think it's as crazy as you're making it out to be. It's very similar either way.
When we get into these, it's like there's nothing I can say to convince you mine. I've made my points.
Oh, no, I'm trying to meet you halfway by saying either way, I think it's good. I just think I would give the slight edge to Draymond being the other way.
Okay. I don't agree.
Okay.
That's all I can say because there's nothing I can say to progress the conversation.
Sure. Let's get on to another matchup. I've got the OKC Thunder versus the Wolves.
Actually, I don't have that.
Here's why. I don't know if you've seen the last couple matchups that they've played against each other, but it's been pretty back and forth.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of heat going on. Matchup-wise, I don't really think it'd be great for the Wolves. But again, Ant just kind of elevates their matchup problems to still things I'd want to see and still having at least a little bit of faith in them just because of his kind of nuclear Super Saiyan power that he can kind of just turn on whenever he wants. Yeah.
You know who else can do that? Shea Gilgeous.
Shea does it a different way, though, where like Ant does it in a more all-around aspect. Shea does it in his, I'm getting to the rack, I'm getting my mid-range, and I'm getting you to foul me. I am interested to see how that happens in the playoffs because they swallow their whistle in the playoffs.
Well,
I do want to see how that affects his
Shea
game.
doesn't have to impact the game all around because he has people like Jalen Williams, he
I
has
agree.
Chet, he has...
Like I said, matchup problem, I wouldn't pick the Wolves. I'm just saying it'd be an interesting series because we've seen the Wolves beat them now a couple times. We've seen the Thunder beat the Wolves a couple times. So I think just it'd be fun because all their games, anytime I see them play against each other, it's just a fun game.
Yeah.
So I think it would just be a fun matchup. Seeing Shea, also two of the best players in the league right now. I think that would be cool as well. Just seeing Shea and Ant jostle for that kind of title in the West right now. Because Ant had the belt last year, and he's kind of had it ripped from his arms pretty horrendously. So
I've got Rockets Thunder.
yeah, the only reason I hesitated to put the Rockets against anybody is I just every team I match them up against, I just like they're not going to win that series. Is that bad to say? Like, do you have any faith the Rockets are going to win the first round?
I think they could. The Rockets are, dude, they're playing pretty good.
I know. I don't want to discount them because they're playing really well.
They're playing really well.
I just
bro.
don't know if I believe in them against these other West teams.
Jalen Green, Amen Thompson, and Sengun.
Amen has been a revelation.
Dude, Amen has been incredible.
It's been a revelation.
Dude, he's been insane.
I was.
And then their supporting cast is
Yeah.
actually like, not bad at all.
I was hearing a lot of Amen talk today on one of the podcasts I was listening to, and they were doing like redrafts of all the past couple drafts, and they got to that draft, and I looked every time they did one, I looked up like what actually happened to kind of compare it, and the Twins went like right after the big
Each other.
guys.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking, because at that draft, I wanted at least one of the Twins. And I was just so mad that both of them went right before Orlando. Because who did we get? It was Anthony Black. So like Anthony Black's been okay.
Yeah.
I love Anthony Black, but man, I'd really like to have him in Thompson right now.
Ahmed is a dog.
He's crazy.
So I think like I would take, and I know this is maybe I'm not super high on the Clippers, but I would take like the Rockets over the Clippers. Which that might be crazy.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Some people would call me crazy.
I don't think so. I wouldn't call you crazy. That is the matchup currently. No, it's not. They'd have to slip around the seating a little bit, but yeah, I guess I would pick them against the Clippers.
Outside of that, yeah, it would be hard. Wolves would be interesting.
Yeah, but I just don't know if that's
just because of
possible.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying.
But like that could be interesting, just because again I'm not high on the Wolves this year, just because of the dysfunction of their injuries
sucks,
and people coming back. Yeah,
that sucks, bro.
I hate.
We
that.
were big Wolves guys last year.
Oh my
bro.
gosh,
We were big Wolves guys.
big
That
Wolves
sucks.
guys.
I
And it's like,
still am. I love that
I'm-
team. I just
listen.
hope they get better.
well, they're not who they were last year,
Yeah.
and it's like the reason I love them was their identity was like
Yes.
we are going to smother you
Bludgeon you
with defense.
Yeah.
And that's what that's what I loved about them. And they lost some pieces that kind of was that identity.
You know what also kind of sucks? I feel like if they had Cat right now and not Gobert, I don't think we'd be having
see
this
the light?
conversation. I was never in on like I wanted to give it another year. I thought they jumped ship too early. I understand you had to pay them. You were always going to be able to find a team to trade for these players. It really was just a matter of the owners being stingy about their money, which I don't know if you heard. The new owners got awarded the team in the suit. Whatever legal battle was going on about who would take control of the team, Rodriguez and whoever that other guy is taking control at some point. And from every indication, they have definitely been we're not going to spend money type of people.
Interesting.
So I'm very interested to see how this Wolves team goes the next couple of years, because it's just I think it's gonna be more of a bummer than the parade we were hoping.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and Ant came out and said he doesn't want to be the face of the league.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, you didn't see that?
Uh-uh.
He like made a whole stink about it, and Stephen A was getting on him about it, and he was like, "Yeah, let Wemby do that," and everybody was like, "No, dude, you're the American guy. You have to be it."
Yeah, I guess.
I get it, but
I
I'm
don't
sad he
hate
said
that.
it.
Really?
I wanted him to be the face of the league. I liked him. I thought he fit the vibes.
Yeah, but there's a pressure that comes with that. I just don't
Sure.
think he really cares to have that microscope.
No,
on
he
him.
is a very apathetic person at times. Like, meaning he could just get into that vibe of like, he's very Kevin Durant-ish, which makes sense. Of I'm just here to play ball.
Yeah.
I just want to play ball.
Like he doesn't want to be the guy that's put on the pedestal.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be LeBron. Well, LeBron was for the last 20 years. He doesn't want to do that.
Which is interesting because I just don't know who's going to be. I don't think it's going to be an American player, man. If I just
People
don't think
people are saying that. I'm like, so what? I don't.
I agree, but
to
also
me, it's like
I get why people want it to be an American player.
Yeah, but that's like saying I don't want a white guy to do it. I don't want to.
That's
You know,
fair.
it's like, why does it matter, dude? They're in the NBA. They're in the greatest
It's
league.
the same pride we have when we go to the Olympics. It's like we want to be the best because we invented this sport. Actually, I think Canada technically invented it, but we want to be the best at the sport.
Yeah,
We made it great.
Sure, and I mean, by all means, when it comes to the Olympics, I'm for sure going for USA.
yeah,
but it's
yeah.
like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. To me, it's just like I have not been liking that people have been saying.
I
that.
love all of the European players in the league right now. I just want to point that out too. Like, I'm not saying that because I don't like them. I love Giannis. I love Jokic. I
Yeah.
love Shea. He's awesome.
Yeah, they're great.
I'm a little less high on Luka, but I do like the whole Luka thing has drastically changed my opinion about him. Just like when LeBron left the Heat to go back to Cleveland, kind of really changed my whole flip-flop that for me on LeBron.
So like you liked him when he left?
Yeah, like when he left the Heat and went back to Cleveland to win that championship, I was in on LeBron, whereas I had always hated him.
Okay, so for
And
Luka being traded, now you're in on him.
I never liked Luka really very much. I knew he was a great player. I just never really liked him. And now I just feel bad for him, and I want him to like this. I want him to light everyone on fire. I hate that it's on the Lakers.
Yeah.
Just because, like, come on, they were finally dead. It seemed like we were finally going to have a good stretch of time where the Lakers weren't prominent. And now they're going to be led by Luka for how long?
I just think if Boston is going to be good, then LA has to be good.
I'm okay with that.
If Boston has to be a top team in the NBA, then I think LA needs to as well.
If this is leading down to within the next 3 years,
I don't want
a finals matchup.
Oh, one matchup. That's fine.
No, just one.
I don't want 10 years.
No. But I mean, a new rivalry that lasts a couple years between these teams would be a great new chapter to what has been the greatest rivalry of all time.
It'd be part 2.
It'd be like part 4, bro. They had the 60s matchup. Boston bludgeoned them every time. Then they had the 80s. That was more LA. Was it ended up being? LA won more championships, but Boston beat them more in the championship, I believe. I believe they beat them 2 out of 3 times.
But LA ended up
with 5. Boston ended up with 3.
And they had one matchup in the.
We had the 2008.
That was one.
Yeah, but
I guess you could say
that rivalry lasted a few years, I'd say.
Yeah, the regular season and stuff.
The Paul Pierce, Kobe Bryant thing, that was always kind of just because Paul Pierce always was in the media about no, I'm same level as Kobe Bryant type stuff. So
I guess part 4.
That'd be fun.
It'd be
even if it's just 1 year. Luka led, especially because that's a Luka matchup too. It's a Luka rematch. Lost to them in the finals. Goes to the Lakers.
Yeah,
that would be fun. It's not going to happen this year.
Not this year. I'm very curious to see what team they build around him once LeBron retires.
Yeah.
Because you got to wait till LeBron retires, which
LeBron can happily retire now.
Yeah, which will happen soon.
You think?
Yeah, within 2-3 years.
I about to say, what do you? Because legitimately, now that Luka's there, it's kind of poses the question. Now that he doesn't have to be the engine, he can kind of just sit there and be. He's entering his Ray Allen phase.
I don't want that for him. Not that it was bad.
I think he wants it just because he wants to keep playing for as long as he can, and B, he wants to legitimately hold every record he possibly can hold.
Yeah,
he's definitely trying to put some scoring title distance even further.
I don't know if this is motivation, but
you don't think his motivation is to do that?
No, I
absolutely think that's a huge thing.
I think at this point it's for the love of the game. I think he doesn't know life without basketball.
I think he's doing it to chase Jordan. Legitimately, he's doing everything he can to put as much distance in his mind between him and Jordan that he can right now. That's going to mean another title in every record.
From everything I've seen in his whole career, I just don't think that fits him, his motivation.
I don't know where you're getting that from, dude. Everybody who knows him knows he's very adamant about chasing Jordan. That's the whole he's very adamant about, I want to be the best player in the league. He's on record saying stuff like that.
I don't know.
I think he's going to use this. He's definitely going to use this. If he gets another title out of this, it's going to. And I don't know how much it changes the question because he's not the best player on the team anymore, but definitely, 5 rings is better than 4. So.
Yeah, but you can always bring up finals record, which is.
Yeah, for sure. But
hurts.
Still, 5 to 4 with all the records, that's a big mounting case. I don't think it's ever really going to change my opinion of it, but
it's hard though.
There's already a lot of people riding the LeBron.
There's always an asterisk because he's played for 25 years. You know what I mean? It's
but is that an asterisk against him or in his favor?
It's I don't know, against him, I would say.
Really?
Because it's the longer you play, of course, the more chances you have at this. And listen, by all means, his staying healthy and his longevity, it needs to be studied. It is one of a kind. But if Jordan was able to do that, then it's what do we wouldn't be even having a conversation.
Sure.
But he didn't, and that's what somebody could say. But Jordan didn't. It's sure, but then you can argue modern medicine and all this stuff and so it's just I don't know, the longer he goes and the more points he scores and opportunities at titles, it's just okay, dude, but you played 25 years and Jordan played half that.
Sure.
Half that still has more rings than you.
I would agree with you if he played 3 to 4 more years and his production just hit a cliff. And he really was just kind of I'm the shooter in the corner type, who's kind of just the old dude who's here. I'm getting minutes, I'm on the starting, but I'm not even the second option.
I think he'd retire before he did that.
I agree. I don't think he'd ever even get to that point. I think there's no way in hell LeBron would play as the third option on a team. I think if it ever got to that, he'd already be gone.
Yeah.
But second option, he could ride out the second option for a while.
I don't know, bro. I was 40.
Dude, I wouldn't be surprised. At this point, man, I just wouldn't. He's just
I'll give him 2 years.
2. I think 2 years done.
I think.
I think as soon as this Vegas team becomes a reality, he's gone. Because he's on record. Like, he wants to own a team.
Yeah.
He wants to run a team.
Yeah, which would be great for him.
Yeah. So another thing to check off against Jordan, by the way.
If he does it better.
Yeah, it's my point.
If.
I think he wants to try, though, to do it better.
Sure.
So, but all right. We honestly didn't go as long as I thought we were gonna go today. I thought we were gonna talk a lot. You want to talk about more matches? You got any more matches? I feel like that was a good trail off ending. Where you want to any honorable mentions?
Clippers Suns.
Interesting. Why?
I don't know.
Okay. Just because.
Pistons Miami.
Yeah, that'd be scrappy as
Could
hell.
be scrappy.
Yeah. I had Cavs Bucks. I think would be physical.
Yeah. I had Bucks Hawks. Why?
I thought about that one.
Why?
I just don't think the Hawks are going to get there anymore now that their
Yeah.
injuries are kind of what they were.
I don't have Chicago in here. I hope we
Burning.
I hope we don't make it.
Dumpster fire.
We need to lose tonight.
Who are you playing?
I actually don't know who we're playing tonight. Was it Detroit? We need to lose.
Yeah, you need to
I'm
lose.
not trying
You
to be in the play-in
Do
again,
everything you can to get to Cooper Flag.
bro.
Anything and trade Kobe White. I don't care what you have to do.
Bro.
Trade Nikola Vucevic. Do all of it.
We're playing Toronto.
Get as many picks as you can. Package them
We're
for the number 1
losing.
overall. Yeah, baby. Come
We're-
on.
We're down in 10 minutes in the fourth
Really
quarter.
sad y'all didn't trade us Kobe White. I really thought that was going to happen at the 11th hour.
Yeah.
It didn't.
Dude. Oh, sorry. Basketball fantasy. Jason Tatum, 1 minute left, has 53 points. Not NBA points, 53 fantasy points.
Hey.
But he has 46 real world
Trae
points.
Young did something for me.
That's good.
I'm still going to lose to Patrick. This is
I'm
unbelievable.
going to lose to Danny.
This is unbelievable.
I'm going to lose to Danny. We'll talk about it off pod, but anyways, yeah.
Ridiculous, bro. It's
crazy.
I somehow lost to your brother in the 11th hour of the night
Yeah.
last week. I went to bed and I was like easily like, this is, I was like, Santi Aldama's playing. I'm good. Because he's done this for me countless times this season. And then I woke up and I'd lost by 20 points. And I was like, what the fuck?
That's
and literally
funny.
I didn't lock in a big Jokic game because I was expecting him to have
44.1, yeah.
another big game.
He did it. He
And
had
he
a 20
didn't.
point.
Yeah, he put up another 50 tonight, but I think I locked him in because I got scared.
That's funny.
I locked him in at
Only guy I can't use Jokic the right way.
I locked him in at no, I haven't locked him in. So I could lock him in tonight for 53.5. Might have to do that.
Yeah.
Because he locked in Zubac at about half that. So
Yeah.
that'll make up. I'm gonna do it right now. Lock. All right, that's gonna do it for us on the pod today. We're very happy to be back talking basketball. We will be back really once a week for the most part. We'll be back next week with free agency. So actually we won't be back with basketball next week. Week after that though, we'll start to ramp it up as it gets closer and closer to playoffs. And then once playoffs hit, we're here every day, you know?
Yep.
So looking forward to that. Glad you guys came around the house. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok. Go check it out. Go drop some likes. Go drop some comments. We are active, and we plan to continue to be.
Yep.
But we're glad you guys hung around the house with us. We will catch you all next week. Peace.